What is going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Ask Jared. I have not done one of these in a very long time, so I figured it was time. And I know you all have the burning questions deep within your heart, so let's get right into it. Would you rather go gay or bald? At this point in my life, I feel like I'm probably going both. Why are all your videos the same? I already regret doing this video. What is the first thing that you type in a porn site search bar? Well, if your mom hasn't posted anything recently, I usually just see what's up in the good old world of fisting. If you had 8 hands, would you grab your significant other's ass with all 8 hands at the same time, or with each hand 8 times? That's a great question. Just a wonderful, marvelous question. I've never gotten a question so big and so extreme as that. I think more than anything, I would just grab him right by the pussy. What's the biggest obstacle you have overcame being a YouTube musician, and how have you changed as a musician from when you started until now? Alright, now that's a great question. I think the biggest obstacle that I've overcome being a YouTube musician is probably dealing with negativity. There's a lot of it out there, especially on the internet, and it's very easy to get caught up in that. I got caught up in that when I first started. For probably a solid year, I was just so fixated on it, and I found the more I fixated on the negativity, the more negative I became, and I didn't like that about myself. So learning to just ignore it, or learning that most of the time when these people are being negative, they don't actually mean it. Like, I'll usually have someone saying the rudest shit, like, you suck, go die, I hate you, everything you do is stupid. I'll reply to them and they'll be like, well, I didn't really mean that. And so, like, 9 times out of 10, they're just either trying to get a reaction out of you, or they're having a bad day and they don't really mean what they say. And once I realized that, it was a lot easier for me to just continue doing what I do without having to worry about what other people are gonna say. As far as how I've changed as a musician from doing YouTube, the biggest thing is just learning to be okay with the content you put out. And I think as musicians in general, we all have this it needs to be perfect, it needs to be perfect, I need to do it again, I could do it better, I could do it better. And then you end up sitting on something for weeks and weeks and weeks and it never gets done. I think doing YouTube has really taught me that it's okay to put your best work in and put a limit to the time that you're going to be on a video. So say if I have a video I think might take 5 days, say okay, I will put only 5 days in this video, and I'll bust my ass for those 5 days trying to do the best video that I can. But once it's done, realizing that I need to just get it out there, and I could sit on it and sit on it and sit on it and sit on it, but then personally, I would just never get it done because I would always think it could be better. Learning to utilize my time correctly and not being so fixated on a perfect created product, for me, has definitely been a change since I started YouTube. What's the creepiest, strangest fangirl experience you've had? I don't get anything too creepy, too strange, at least anything that's like insane. I do get the stalkers, the ones that won't leave me alone. I've had people follow me around publicly for an extended period of time where it got uncomfortable. I've had people linger a lot, they just don't get a hint. I've had girls come up to me and like say that they want to marry me, etc. It's not really creepy, I guess. I've never had anyone take it to a creepy point. I think the weirdest thing for me is that I get a decent amount of unsolicited nudes. And a lot of girls think that it's just a guy thing, like they just send dick pics. It's not the case. The only difference is girls have a higher standard, whereas guys are just like, she's hot, here's a dick. Girls are like, oh, he's attractive, he's got a following or whatever, he makes good money, whatever it may be. They just have a higher list of standards before they do that. Not all girls, obviously, but some do. And it's something that people don't really talk about because usually guys don't care. They're like, yeah, awesome. But if you're in a relationship, if you're married, stuff like that, you don't want to open up a message from someone and just have a pussy right there, your girlfriend over your shoulder. You know, it's just kind of like, don't do that. That's weird to me. When it's Christmas, someone make a joke with your name. Things like, come on, Jared, take the turkey and let's dance. I'm hungry. Sorry. I think the greatest thing about my last name is that if the music thing ever goes tits up, I could just change it to a food review channel and just call it Jared Dines at Applebee's, Jared Dines at Denny's, Jared Dines on pork. What's your most embarrassing drunk story? I don't really have too many embarrassing drunk stories because I don't really let myself get to a point of being embarrassingly drunk. One that I can remember specifically is a New Year's Eve party at my house. I had a bunch of people, maybe 50, 60 people over, and I was drinking quite a bit. What the problem was is I went outside and I smoked hookah with some friends of mine, and then that gave me the spins. And I remember my buddy carrying me through the house as I'm throwing up in a line, going up the stairs, just around all these people, just puking. And then I laid on the ground in my vomit for like 2 hours. And that was a few years ago. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, this isn't good. Have you ever reappropriated the slogan for the jewelry store Jared's to say something along the lines of, oh yeah, she went to Jared's? There was this one girl in high school that every time she saw me, every time, she would literally go, it could only be Jared. And ever since high school, I just fucking hate that jewelry store. If you could go back in time and hang out with a music idol of yours during their teenage years, who would you choose? Oh man, so I hate questions like these because there are hundreds of people I would love to hang out with if I could. I think for me, I have to keep it personal and say Eddie Van Halen because he was the guitarist who inspired me to pick up a guitar. He was the guy who eventually changed my life to follow music and want to be that. Even though I'm not that, he put me on the path to pursue that. And so I'd want to sit down and just tell him, hey, you changed my life. Do you smoke weed? If not, have you ever used any drugs? I get this question all the time. Apparently it seems like I'm always high in my videos. That's not the case. I'll be completely honest with you guys because I respect you and you're my fans. There's a period of time earlier this year where I was definitely smoking a lot of weed, probably from July to the beginning of October. And I deal with a lot of anxiety. I have panic attacks for just no reason. I mean, I deal with it. I've dealt with it for years. And so I wanted to try it, and it helped with my anxiety 100%. I was not anxious anymore at all. And I loved that, so I did more of smoking weed. And then I realized that it was hindering me in other ways. Not necessarily creatively, but just having motivation and drive. And I'm not sitting here saying, weed does this, weed is bad, weed is good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what happened to me in my personal experience. I loved how I felt being high, but I also love how I feel being not high. So I quit, and I haven't smoked any weed for 2 months, and I have no desire to. As far as other drugs, no, I do not do other drugs. Swear to God, I don't do any other drugs. I know it may seem like that in my videos. I know I get a lot of comments like that, but I don't. I don't even drink caffeine anymore. I'm not an advocate for substance. If it's something that helps you or you need it, that's different. For me, it did help me, but I didn't need it, and I found that it was affecting me in ways that I didn't like. So I stopped smoking weed. Where did you go when you vanished last year? If some of you don't remember, last year I took a break from YouTube. I posted a video about it. I took about a month and a half off, and a lot of people think I had a nervous breakdown or, I was going through some difficult times, which I was, but I didn't vanish. I was still doing the same stuff that I do. I was writing 2 albums, and I vanished because I just needed a break. It was just like, I need a break from YouTube. I wasn't feeling funny anymore. I wasn't feeling motivated to do YouTube, and I was finding that I was forcing it. My video content was being forced, and I didn't like that. So I decided to take a break and start writing some actual music, which is where the Light and the Dark EP came out of. And for me, writing music is kind of my escape. It's the way that I shut off the whole YouTube brain, creative mentality, because it's really hard to do sometimes. So that was my way of shutting that off. And yeah, so I didn't vanish. I didn't have a nervous breakdown. I just needed a vacation, and that's what it was. What does your practice routine look like? I don't really have much time to practice on my own. Usually it's if I'm doing a Shred Wars, that's practice for me because I'm trying new stuff. I'm learning new scales. And I mean, that's kind of it. Like the videos that I do, that's my practice. It's like on the spot, try new stuff on the spot, try and get it down really quick, you know, and then move on. I just don't really have much time anymore to sit there and practice for 2 or 3 hours a day. Drums, guitar, vocals, you know, I can't do each of those for 2 or 3 hours a day and then still maintain the YouTube. So I find that a lot of my practice is just doing frequent videos, and I can keep up on my playing. Are you Christian anymore? My beliefs haven't changed at all. I don't talk about Christianity or anything like that because this is a music channel. I believe what I believe, but it's not part of what I do, and I don't think it needs to be. And I don't think the internet's a very good place to be talking about religion anyways. How does your family feel about your career? How have they reacted? My family's always been very supportive of me musically. When I started doing the YouTube stuff, they were like any parents. They're like, you can post videos on the internet and make money? Like, what? That doesn't sound like a job. I get it, you know, but they've learned to understand that it is something that I can do that supports me, and they support that. I was just Christmas shopping with my mom the other day, and she was like, I don't know what to get you anymore because all you'd ever want is music gear, and now you have all these companies that just give you music gear, so we don't know what to buy you anymore. They love it, you know, they love that I'm happy, and they support me, and yeah, as any parent should support their kid. Why don't you just shave your head instead of having that ridiculous comb over? I don't understand why a lot of you guys are so interested in my hair. It's weird. Like, why? I don't get it. That's like if you go to work every day and your coworkers are like, what's with the hair, dude? Every day. Multiple times every day. It's weird. Why are you so fixated on it? My hair is how it is because I like it. Just like your hair is how it is because you like it. I'm not gonna shave my head because some random person on the internet tells me to shave my head. How difficult has it been to determine if someone is truly wanting to be your friend or be a friend just because of your YouTube fame or popularity? All right, that's actually a great question, and I think you can tell, right? Like, you can usually just tell if someone's hanging out with you just by the things that they say, the way they interact with you. It's pretty obvious, you know. I have a very tight-knit group of friends that I've had for many years, and those are the people that I really trust. Those are the people that I would consider my real friends. The fans that I meet are awesome people. I have nothing bad to say about them. I wouldn't invite them to my house to hang out, obviously. It's just a different relationship, you know. It's just completely different, and usually you can tell when someone is genuinely interested in you as a person, or if they're just like a fanboy or a fangirl. But sometimes it is pretty hard. Sometimes I'll go to a local show and I'll meet someone there and they'll be super cool like the whole show, and then I'll see them at another show, they'll be like, oh, what's up, dude? And then like the third time you see them, they're like, yo, so I'm like a huge fan. I know I didn't say anything before, but I'm like a huge fan. And then you're kind of just like, man, that's sneaky. Like, that's upsetting because that's sneaky. Like, just make your intention known. It's when you do weird shit that I'm not going to treat you like a friend. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Ask Jared. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comments below, and maybe I'll do another one of these episodes in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my merch store in the description below. I have some new designs that you all might enjoy, and I would appreciate your support, especially around the holiday season. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.